In this lesson, we'll continue a review of Writing Test 7, Section 2. We're now on the second passage, Professional Development, a Shared Responsibility. New theories, new practices too, and technologies are transforming the 21st century workplace at lightning speed. So here we've got new theories, comma, new practices too, and technologies. This is not parallel. If you look at this third one, we just have technologies. We have new introduced in the beginning. We don't need the new, we don't need the two. Let's read it now. New theories, practices, and technologies. Parallel construction. And so the answer here is D. To perform their job successfully in this dynamic environment, workers in many fields, from social services to manufacturing, must continually acquire relevant knowledge and update key skills. So here at the beginning of the sentence, we have a participial phrase. It's describing this clause, a subject, and we don't have the subject till after the comma. To perform their job successfully in this dynamic environment, here's the subject. Workers in many fields, and then we have some extra information about the fields from social services to manufacturing. This is a non-essential clause. These appear all the time in the writing section. They're giving extra information. They're not crucial. And it's usually testing punctuation. They have to be bound by commas, dashes, or parentheses. You just have to be parallel. We have one comma at the end. It's not underlined, it's correct. You need another comma. So this dash would only be correct if we had a dash here. And the way to always test this too, this non-essential clause, if you cross it out, see if the sentence still links before and after. Workers in many fields must continually acquire relevant knowledge. Totally fine. And so this one, we need the comma there. The answer is C. This practice of continuing education, also known as professional development, benefits not only employees but also their employers. Accordingly, meaningful professional development is a shared responsibility. And so here we have that really it benefits the employees and the employers, and then it states that it's shared. Accordingly looks good. This is a transition sentence that means sort of consequently or as a result, right? Thus or therefore. It's not nevertheless, in spite of, or regardless, or similarly. And so the answer here is no change accordingly. It's a responsibility of employers to provide useful programs. It's also the responsibility of employees to take advantage of the opportunities offered to them. All right, let's take a look at the next paragraph in this passage. All right, so 15. Critics of employer-provided professional development argue that employees might consider a popular career path. And if we look at question 15, which choice best establishes the argument that follows? Remember, these are critics of the employer-provided development. And here's the claim they're making. If employees find themselves falling behind in the workplace, these critics contend, then it's the duty of those employees to identify and even pay for appropriate resources. I'm just reading a little further here. And so remember, we have to find the argument that follows. These are the critics. It's definitely not might consider a popular career path. These critics are making the claim that it's the responsibility or the burden of the employees to take charge of their own careers. And if they're falling behind, they have to identify and even pay to remedy the issue. And so here, the answer is C for 15. They must be in charge of their own careers. If employees find themselves falling behind in the workplace, these critics contend, period, then it's the duty of employees to identify and even pay for appropriate resources. This is just a punctuation issue. This is another non-essential clause, right? These critics contend, then it's the duty. And let's see if we can link it before and after. If employees find themselves falling behind in the workplace, then it's the duty of employees to identify and even pay for appropriate resources, right? So this is a non-essential clause. We know that the critics are making the argument, and we just have to bind this by commas. And so the answer for number 16 is comma then. We'll do a couple more in this video. Let's do the last couple, 17 and 18. For appropriate resources to show them how and why they are falling behind and what they should do about it. Remember, this is what the argument that the critics are making. And it seems a little wordy and repetitive, doesn't it? And so let's take a look at 17. It's the duty of employees to identify and even pay for appropriate resources to, I think the much more concise way is to address their deficiencies, right? Not to show them how and why they're falling behind and what they should do about it. It's just wordy, it's repetitive, address their shortcomings. B is the answer for that one. And let's do one last question in this video. This argument ignores research pointing to high employee turnover and training of new staff as significant costs plaguing employers in many fields. Forward-thinking employers recognize the importance of investing in the employees they have rather than hiring new staff when the skills of current workers get old and worn out. So this is kind of casual and repetitive. Remember, this is sort of an academic passage, and we don't really need to say get old and worn out. The skills, right, of the current workers become obsolete. The answer is C.